From the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California, we bring you the Gimme Three Podcast. Hello and welcome, cinephiles, cinema lovers, and movie appreciators to the Gimme Three Podcast, the podcast where we pick three films connected by one theme. I'm Nicholas Ibarra, and I'm joined, as always, by my kick-ass co-host, Bella F. Stratus. Bella, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. You know, we've had an exciting week of a trilogy I've never seen before. So I'm excited to dive into this theme today.
Yes, it's gonna be very, very exciting. I had an exciting week myself. I know every episode I always say like, oh, I had a busy week. But this week was really busy. At the beginning of this week, I was flying out to Oklahoma City for a project. Ended that trip with a great shoot, a surprise Wallflowers concert, which we're going to get into the spawn of Bob Dylan a little bit later, and a trip to a real, this is my first ever real cowboy bar.
Oh, no way.
With line dancing and the hootin' tootin' and mechanical bulls and all that jazz. And then I flew back Friday and was on set directing some new episodes of Call the ADA on Saturday. So, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling tired, nice. Obviously, but if there's one thing that could wake me up, it's talking about this trilogy that we're going to be talking about today. Bella, are you ready for this? Are you even ready for what we're about to discuss today?
I don't think I am, honestly. I don't know if I ever could be ready for this. Go for it.
Well, in the late 90s, that movie Scream came out.
My favorite.
And it was so successful. And it gave a shot of adrenaline to a subgenre that had been floundering for nearly a decade. The teen movie. Enter the return of a subgenre within a subgenre, American Pie, the teen sex comedy film that would recall the raunchy, shock value, sex antics of its predecessors like, Porky's or Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, I think American Pie stands above those because it delivers a little bit more heart. There's a little bit more true coming of age character arcs. The female characters know just as much about or are just as titillated about sex as the male characters. Mm-hmm. And it's got some of the most memorable parental characters that you'll ever find in teen movies. American Pie, it was a massive hit and sustained the genre for years to come. And of course, it would spark a franchise. Today, we're going to discuss the first three American Pie films. And for those of you sitting at home being like, there's more than three American Pie films. Yeah, there is, but we won't be discussing those. I should also mention that today we are celebrating Alyson Hannigan's birthday.
Oh, no way. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, that was the inspiration for this episode. So happy birthday, Alyson Hannigan. Let me look that up just to make sure that I'm not lying here. Yes, March 24th. Yes. March 24th, 1974. And she still looks wonderful. Wow. Happy birthday, Alyson. So Bella, before we get into it, you had not seen American Pie. You had not, when I brought this up, you had not even really knew diddly squat about this trilogy, which is just shocking to me. What do freaky high schoolers watch nowadays?
No, I don't know. I missed this one. I think for me it was Superbad.
Oh, right. Okay.
That the one sense. That I would have seen. I remember seeing I remember seeing it in Blockbuster when I was little and just being like, oh yeah, that's definitely not something I'm allowed to watch.
You're damn right.
Yeah. So I think I left it at that for many years.
Right. Yeah, I guess so. Like the of your arrow, it'd be like super bad and like book
Easy
smart,
A, book
easy
smart.
A,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. All great movies too. Great
I
movies too.
mean, American Pie walked so they could run, so
Yes.
we wouldn't have them without this.
Well, here we go. Buckle up. Preheat the oven. We're talking the American Pie trilogy, and of course, we are starting with the OG, American Pie. What I think is a modern classic, 1999, the goated year of 1999. Man, Jesus Christ! Written by Adam Hertz, directed by Paul Weitz, and kinda Adam Hertz, although Adam is not credited as a director. The film follows a group of teens at East Great Falls High School in Michigan. And in particular, it follows 4 young men who are within a rock's throw away from graduating. But not only graduating, they are going to be graduating as virgins unless they get their act together. We've got Jim, who is charming but sexually awkward and quite dorky. We've got Chris Ozstriker, who's the sensitive jock, as only Chris Klein can play. I think that's pretty much all he played in the late 90s was the sensitive jock. We got Paul Finch, who's the intellectual bohemian type guy. And then we've got Kevin, who is kind of sex obsessed. He's just Kevin. He's a little sex obsessed. He really wants to have sex with his girlfriend, Vicky. And, he's emotional, but doesn't know where to put his emotions. That's how I'll describe him. And prom is on the horizon. And these group of friends decide to make a pact. By prom night or at prom night, they will all have sex and they will help each other out. They will be each other's spotters and support system. It's like a 4-person wingman group. So Kevin, as I mentioned, is as close as any of the guys to getting laid because he's got a girlfriend, Vicky, who's played by a very young Tara Reid. And she is thinking about taking the next step. So she's kind of getting advice throughout the movie from her sexually experienced friend, Jessica, who's played by a young and so charming, like one of the best characters in the whole franchise, Natasha Lyonne. And then we got Oz, the sensitive jock, and he's trying something new. This guy joins the choir. And he knows these choir chicks are hot, and he's like, he ends up falling for one, the sincere, the sweet Heather, who's played by Mena Suvari. What a cast we've got going here.
Seriously.
And then we got Paul Finch, who has paid Jessica to start rumors about him that he is well hung, that he has bodacious tattoos, and that he has slept with one of their classmates' mother, Steve Stifler. Which brings us to Stifler, played by Sean William Scott in his film debut. And he is friends with the group, but he's not like really in the group. He has not made this sex pact with them because also he's not a virgin. But, Stifler is like crude. He's wild. He's foul mouthed. He's the party animal. He's the devil on the shoulders of all these guys. He's that one asshole friend that we've just like all had, at some point in our lives. And they just like are there because I don't know. They're just there.
Yeah, we don't know.
And then finally we got Jim, who is so sexually inept and unlike his friends, he has not, rounded much of the bases. He's not gotten to the second base or the third base. And he asks, what does third base feel like? To which Oz replies, like warm apple pie, which is where we get our clever title. Pussy is basically what American Pie is referring to. So Jim constantly finds himself in embarrassing sexual situations, including his mother catching him watching porn, which, by the way, is once the movie started, I was like, oh my God, this brings me back. How quaint, trying to like find porn on the television and, like sneaking around, trying to get some porn. I was like, man, the good old days. Anyways. So, mother catching him watching porn. His father catches him fucking an apple pie. Yes, that does happen. It's fucking great. And Jim has a major crush on the foreign exchange student Nadia, and he gets so close to being with her, but his premature ejaculation ruins his chances. And the fact that it was broadcast all over the internet, we'll get into that scene in detail later, but it may have ruined his chances with any girl at the school during prom. Except, of course, for the quirky, nerdy band geek Michelle, who is played by our gal Alyson Hannigan. And she would gladly be Jim's date for prom. So all these hijinks and sexual escapades and sexual goals, they all lead to the magical evening, prom night. Will the gang get their freak on? American Pie. Bella, what'd you think of American Pie?
Oh my God, I loved it. I really did. I was not even expecting to like it as much as I did. It's just a classic. Like, it has that feeling. I thought it was hilarious.
It's really funny. It's a really freaking funny movie.
And yeah, like you're saying too, you mentioned like it has heart, and I really wasn't expecting that. Like, given that it is a sex comedy. Yeah, like it really cares about its characters. There's an underlying sweetness, like Jim and Michelle's kind of awkward charm, and Oz and his relationship with Heather. Thank you. And like, yeah, just all the different relationship dynamics. There's some sweetness to it, even though it's like very much raunchy at the same time.
Yeah, it is raunchy as hell. And it is, foul mouthed. I was kind of nervous picking this as something for us to explore because I haven't seen these movies in a long time. I used to watch them a lot, as a teenager. But I was like, oh man, I know for a fact there's some scenes in here that are like not going to hold up or like not be PC now. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm getting Bella into here. But but I was also surprised revisiting them of how well they held up.
Yeah,
and or specifically how well this movie holds up, and how much heart it had. And like one thing, like I always loved Eugene Levy, who plays Jim's dad. Like I always thought he was great, but being older now, watching the scenes with Eugene Levy and Jim, like I found myself, getting really touched by those scenes. Like I was like, oh man, this is really heartfelt stuff here. He borderline steals this movie for me.
I agree. Actually, I'm glad you brought it up because I totally agree with you. It must be funny to like, I think about like watching them when you're young and you're like, oh my God, this is the worst dad ever. Like it's so awkward and like way too descriptive and detailed about sex. But yeah, like as an adult, you're like, oh man, what a great like role model and parent to Jim. Like Jim wouldn't get nowhere without this man.
No. Jim, I want to talk about masturbation.
That was so good. Oh, yeah, he has the best lines and delivery in this film.
And apparently, in the script, the dad character was not written very well. And he was kind of written more like, even more like a bumbling idiot or like a dad that like didn't really have as much care or heart. So, but because he's Eugene Levy was like, I'm not really into what you've done with the character here. But if you let me kind of like improv a lot of my lines or kind of basically rewrite my character, I'll do it. And wisely, the filmmakers were like, you're Eugene Levy. Of course you can do that. And so a lot of, the heart and soul of this character, which is really the heart and soul of this whole of friggin' American Pie franchise.
Yeah.
It could be stemmed from Eugene Levy. So if it was not for Eugene Levy signing on to this movie, we probably would not be talking about 3 movies today. We'd probably just be talking about one, or we wouldn't be talking about it at all.
Right.
What was your favorite scene, if you got one, Bella? What was one scene that made you go, oh my shit? Because there is a lot of shock value in this movie.
There is. I think, I mean, okay, the most obvious is obvious. Okay, we'll do the obvious one second. But I think the first one that I was like, oh my God, was, it was like the first big party they're throwing. Stifler brings this like girl into a bedroom and she's like, oh, I forgot my beer downstairs. And he doesn't know that some kid before him like jizzed into the cup of beer by yes. Oh, it was Kevin. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. And it's such a great scene where like they're both taking the cup back and forth between each other and you're just like, oh my God, who is gonna take the first sip? Like, this is horrible to watch. And they're so clueless, and oh God, that my jaw was on the floor for that. I was like, wow, if this is where we're starting, I'm scared.
Yes, the splooge beer. The pale ale.
Oh, it's so gross.
And they make it look so believable too.
Yes,
it is in a cup. It's like,
it's so disgusting.
I think they used egg whites or something. They said, but it's nasty.
Oh man, yeah, that was the first one that I was just dying. I was like, this is fucking crazy. But obviously the second thing was the pie scene, the iconic pie scene that everyone talks about. I just like, I'd heard about it. I didn't know what to expect, even though like everyone's told me what happens. Like, seeing it, you got to see it to believe it, as you like to say. I mean, I was just dying laughing.
Back in the day when DVDs were a thing, you know, or VHS, when a movie would come out, especially a movie like this, they would always release the unrated version. And the unrated version would basically be the exact same movie, but there would be like one scene added or one like alt scene. It was just a way for them to like get more money or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I own that DVD, the unrated version of American Pie. And the pie fucking scene is the Jim actually on the counter mounting the pie, like missionary position, like fucking it. And it's just like, oh my God.
It's too much.
It was a little too much. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. It's so crazy that he's like known for that scene in his career.
He's known for two scenes. He's known for that scene, and then of course he's known for the Nadia Jim scene, which is also so iconic, so entertaining. So builds so beautifully, and it starts out and you're just kind of, you like, especially now, like as an adult, just like, oh, they're filming. Yeah. Okay, I'll set it up.
Yeah.
Nadia, the foreign exchange student that Jim is infatuated with, wants to go to Jim's house because she needs help with their social studies. But she's got ballet practice, of course, prior to the study session. So she wants to change at Jim's house, at Gene's house. He's like, yeah, okay, that's great. And of course, Stifler, the devil on the shoulders, is like, bro, you're going to have Nadia naked in your room and you're not going to do anything about it. You're not even going to film her. And you're just like, Jesus, what? How did you get there?
Yeah.
How did you get to filming her?
Such a leap.
But anyways, they just come to the conclusion that he must film her with his webcam and send a private link to his four friends, so that way they can, enjoy the majesty that is Nadia. And Tune in live. And he does just that. And as Nadia's changing, Jim runs over to Kevin's house, and they're, having a watch party with him and Finch and Kevin. And Kevin, because they're in their bro pact, they need to get laid. As they're watching it, Nadia, who's now undressed, finds Jim's porn stash, which was given to him by his dad, by the way. And she starts, masturbating. They're like, you need to get over there because now she's if there's ever going to have a chance with Nadia, now's the time. And so he's like,
she's primed, man.
She's primed, man. So Jim is like, okay, I'm going to do it. He runs back home. gets in the room, and she makes him do some ridiculous sexy dance for her as he strip dancing, the most hilarious, awkward dance scene ever. And then you realize that Jim accidentally sent the link to the entire school email address. And so the entire school's watching him now act like a damn fool. And Nadia tells him to get on the bed, and she starts just touching him, and he, blows it, so to speak. And it is one of the most memorable scenes of any teen movie ever. It's so good. It builds so well.
It really does. It's so iconic.
They were filming that scene. They did not film this in Michigan, by the way. They filmed it in Long Beach. The scenes where Jim's running back and forth between the two houses. Apparently, it was really hot that day, and Jim's just running his ass off through all this stuff. He got overheated, and they had to stop filming because he overheated himself, and they had to take him to the medic, and he had to cover him with ice packs and fill him up with fluids. Totally, they nearly killed the kid.
Oh my God.
In fact, a lot of the scenes, they built sets, and they were filming in warehouses and stuff. So the interior of, I think, Jim's house was a set. And you'll notice Jim's sweating a lot throughout the picture. He's a sweaty bloke.
He's a sweaty boy. Yeah.
And it's because there's no air conditioning in these warehouses, and he's just a Switzer.
It makes it even better though, because it's so realistic.
Oh yeah,
the horny, sweaty boy.
Oh, the poor bastard.
Oh, truly. I love Jim though, honestly.
Oh yeah,
he's such a great character. My favorite character by far though is Finch. Finch just does something for me. I think he is absolutely hilarious, and his whole thing with Stifler's mom is just too good. Yeah, he gets me. I love Finch.
That scene where him and Stifler's mom actually meet, and it is so great. Jennifer Coolidge is so amazing in that scene.
Oh yeah, made to play that role.
Are you lost?
Stifler's mom. No, not lost. Just, taking the tour. Hey, thank you for letting us have this wonderful party.
As if there was an alternative in the matter. So you're enjoying yourself?
3 sheets to the wind, man.
I'm so happy for you. But it takes the edge off, doesn't it? So where's your old date tonight?
Oh, no date. It was a bathroom incident.
Pardon me?
Never mind. You have anything to drink?
I believe the kegs are upstairs.
That is what the Cretans drink. I'm talking about alcohol, liquor, the good stuff.
All right. I got some scotch.
Single malt?
Aged 18 years. The way I like it.
So this movie was made for, get this, $11 million.
Whoa.
Box office, $235.5 million.
And that's why they made 20 more.
Yep. Yep. I do have for us here 3 pieces of trivia for American Pie, the OG American Pie.
I want to play a game. I want to play a game.
So, as I mentioned, Eugene Levy, wonderful in this film. When he signed on to this film, the original title was East Great Falls High. Terrible fucking title.
Yeah.
And actually, quick tangent, when the writers were shopping the script around, I think that the title on the title page was something like teen sex comedy.
Oh, yeah.
That could be made for under $10 million that most people will hate, but I think you will really love.
Yes, it's so awesome.
Anyways, they end up going with American Pie, which a much better title.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time that they were filming this, there was some legal disputes because there was another movie that had already been going by the name American Pie that was also filming around the same time. And guess who's in that movie? Eugene Levy.
Oh my God.
So at one point, Eugene Levy was basically back to back shooting 2 movies that were going to be called American Pie. That movie didn't end up being called American Pie. They had to change their title to The Secret Life of Girls. Also came out in 1999. Check that out. It's not as good as American Pie, but pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, piece of trivia number 2. The film was originally rated NC-17 by the MPAA. And it took, a few resubmissions, 3 resubmissions, in fact, to get their R rating. So I'm going to talk about a few of the things that the MPAA had to, told the filmmakers they needed to shave or change in order to get the R rating. So we talked about the infamous pie scene.
Oh, yeah.
The mounting was one thing, the fucking the pie with the mounting. There was also, then they knew that might be a thing, so I think they filmed him standing up or something. But they also were saying there was the amount of thrusts into the pastry was too many for an R rating. Originally, it was 4 thrusts that we saw, and I think the filmmakers and the MPAA compromised on 2 thrusts.
Just 2?
Just 2.
Wow.
So dialogue was also a thing in the, when Jim's watching the porno in the beginning, the line from the porn star says something like, "Ride me like a pony." And originally it was, "Blow your wad on my tits."
Oh my God.
Which is less funny, frankly.
Yeah.
Also, there's the line, "Spank my hairy ass," which is great because when he's watching the porn, the male porn star says, "Spank my hairy ass," and Eugene Levy goes, "What's that?"
Oh, his delivery, it's perfect.
Yeah. Originally, that line was, "Play with my hairy balls." Again, I think less funny. I think this is where sometimes constraints are a blessing.
Agreed.
And then one of your favorite scenes, Bella, Stifler swigs the ejaculate-laced beer.
Oh, man.
Kevin asks him, "Hey," as Stifler's puking his brains out later in the scene. Kevin comes in and he says, "Hey, Stifler, how was the pale ale?" The line was originally, "Hey, Stifler, how's the man chowder?"
Oh, my.
Yeah, that's crude.
Yeah. And less funny.
I agree. There's also just like length things, like not the amount of time we saw Nadia masturbating, like Vicky moaning when Kevin's going down on her, like those things just had to be shaved for time. But anyways, fascinating stuff. It's also fascinating because I don't recall any of those things being added back in when they did the unrated version that was released on DVD.
Oh, yeah.
Finally, piece of trivia number 3. Since we are celebrating Alyson Hannigan's birthday, it's only right to give her flowers for what might be the best line of the film. Jim is going to have sex with Michelle. And, Michelle gets on top of him and she says, "What's my name?" And he goes, "Huh?" And she goes, "Say my name, bitch." That line was improvised by Miss Alyson.
No
Hannigan.
way.
Yeah.
She's the goat. That scene is amazing. It's so like unexpected.
Right.
Even though like they kind of preface it with that other great scene where she's like doing her whole, "And this one time at band camp. And then she says something about like sticking her flute inside of her. And he's like, huh, wait, what's going on? And it's like, who are you? And she's, oh God, it's such a great scene. You like realize that she's also equally horny.
Yeah.
And like way more experienced than all of them.
Right.
You're like, yes, this is the best twist ever.
It's so funny. And her delivery is so good. She's so funny.
Yes, 100%.
All right. Any final thoughts on the original?
I think it's just awesome to think about like this movie, kind of as we said earlier, paving the path for these future teen sex comedies like Superbad and Easy A that are so iconic and so great. It's just, yeah, it's interesting like thinking about it being in 1999. And
well, I mean, and there's ones before this too, you know, like it's you know, Animal House or like I said, Fast Times, Porky. It's not the first of its kind, but I just it was the first, I think, to have a little bit more depth, or at least you know, play within that depth that you saw in Superbad or Booksmart and stuff like that.
Right. And like had very relatable characters. Like none of them were total caricatures, to be honest. Like they're all just kind of normal, awkward, weird people.
Yeah. You know, pretty much every person that, you know, you went to high school with one of these types of folk.
Yeah, exactly. So it had a sense of like you could relate to it more, even though it's still outrageous.
Outrageous it is. Well, American Pie, it is, I think it's only available on demand currently. So you can check it out on demand, or you can check out your local video stores. If you live in Los Angeles, Vidiots, Cinephile Video, Videotech are some great options. I should have looked up what the video store is near where this film takes place in Michigan, just to shout them out. But, you know, I fucked that up. Anyways, go to your local video store and rent the unrated version so you can see Jim mounting the pie missionary position.
I can't even imagine. Well, we're back, but this time we've got a new director, J.B. Rogers, but of course the OG crew is all here. We've got Jim, Kevin, Oz, Stifler, Finch, Michelle, Vicky, Heather, and Jessica. It's been a whole year since their wild senior year. They've gone off to different colleges. They're doing their own thing. And now they're coming all back home for the summer together. I love that this movie is a summer reunion instead of like all of them going to the same college. Like that would have just been just a waste, just like a repeat of the first film.
Totally.
But I think this choice lets them develop the characters a bit more in a fun way because, you know, like the first summer back from college can be weird as hell. Like friendships change, home doesn't feel the same, you don't feel the same, like it's messy, which just makes it the perfect setting for American Pie 2. And of course, college has been a learning experience for all of them, especially when it comes to sex. Some have been more successful than others. For Jim, it's been a disaster, to no surprise at all. He's still haunted by this humiliating webcast incident from the first film. And now Nadia, this high school fantasy girl, is coming to visit him at the end of the summer. So desperate not to blow it again, literally and figuratively, Jim enlists Michelle for some, let's say, hands-on coaching in the art of seduction. Their dynamic here is honestly one of the best parts of this film, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. It's awesome.
It's so good. Meanwhile, the guys, the whole gang, has decided to make the most of their summer by renting a beach house, and they've made a pact to have the greatest summer ever. Naturally, this means nonstop parties, awkward hookups, and absolute chaos. Stifler is even more unhinged than before, believe it or not, trying to turn every situation into a spectacle, if you will. Kevin is still dealing with his feelings for Vicky, his ex-girlfriend. Oz is struggling with a long-distance relationship. And Finch, my guy, is fully committed to his spiritual awakening and is really just biding his time waiting for the return of Stifler's mom.
Such a silly plot.
Yeah, it's like, as I'm saying, I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, along the way we get some of the most outrageous moments in the series. We've got a super glue disaster for Jim, Stifler and Finch being tricked into making out. There's this infamous lesbian scene where the guy's, I guess, pervy fantasies hilariously backfire. So, and let's not forget the trip to band camp, where Michelle's training methods get very hands-on, leading to one of the best slapstick gags in the whole franchise, in my opinion. But yes, through all the craziness, the gang.
Are you talking about the part where she sticks the trumpet in his ass?
Yes, it is my favorite part of this entire franchise. I've never laughed harder. Basically, for our audience, they're like, she's teaching him how to just relax when hooking up. And she's like, you're always so tense and sweaty and all this stuff. And they're at band camp and they're in this like music room. And as he's relaxing, she sticks the end of a trumpet up his butt. And he's like, oh my gosh, okay. And he's still pretty surprisingly relaxed. But then someone walks in on them and he like toots the trumpet out. It's like a little and it just, oh my god, I watched it with Jonathan and we were both crying. We were like, how do you even think of this? But yeah, so I had to shout it out. It's the best thing ever. It makes the whole thing worth watching. And yeah, it's a crazy sequel. The gang has realized that, even as life changes, their friendship is still there. It's messy, it's ridiculous, but it feels stronger than ever. So it's a good one. I think this is a much stronger sequel than I expected. But what do you think of American Pie 2, Nick?
I agree. So this was the first American Pie movie that I saw, because I saw this.
Oh,
I saw this in theaters, probably too young to see it. I was, I think, 11 or something. Shout out my Aunt Renee who took me to see it.
I love that. That's so awesome.
I loved it then. I thought it was so kick ass, and obviously like boobies. So hell yeah. But yeah, revisiting it, I'm like, okay, this holds up. Like, again, it has, what you get is like, now you have the American Pie formula, which is you open with the embarrassing sex moment with Jim. You've got a pact or a vow between the friends. You've got Stifler consuming some sort of bodily fluid. You've got a sexual escapade that's broadcast to a bunch of strangers. And then you got the big party that we're leading up to where, somebody's got to have sex. It's a formula that worked for American Pie 1. It's basically the exact same movie in American Pie 2. They've just changed the character wants and motivations, and it works quite beautifully. Most of it works. There are some moments that I think are really bad and corny that kind of hold it back. Like, I think at one point, one of the first scenes is they're back at Stifler's and they're having a party, and Kevin, he's the worst character. Let's be honest.
Kevin, there is no Kevin. Who gives a shit about Kevin? He's not even there.
Yeah. He actually verbalizes the lines back at Stifler's, just like old times. And it's like, who the fuck wrote that? And who the fuck left that in the fucking editing room? Like, just like old times. It's been 2 years since the first movie came out, and it's been 1 year since you guys were here at Stifler's. Like, it's not that big of a just like old times back at Stifler's. Yeah. That line angered me, and it took me a while for me to get over that line, but the movie did it.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah. But overall, I enjoyed it, and I forgot how good some of the scenes were. I totally forgot about Jim gluing his hand to his junk. I totally, that scene left my brain. And so when that scene started, I was like, oh my God, I fucking forgot about this. And it's so good.
It's so funny because you're like, you think that's bad, right? And then he forgets he has it on like both hands. So he goes to like get rid of the evidence of the fact that he was watching porn. And now he has the porn VHS tape stuck in his other hand. It's so good.
Oh, it's great. And it's also kind of like the first one. It's got a really sweet ending. And I mean, the heart of this one is Jim and Michelle's relationship. And it kind of catches you by surprise, like in a way that you're not expecting. You're just like, it's not often where you see a coming of age movie or a rom-com, which this movie is kind of both.
Mm-hmm.
And the ending kind of surprises you, you know?
Yeah.
I love Jim's line where he's finally going to get Nadia. He like, the door's open. He's there with her and she wants to do it with him. Mm-hmm. And he realizes that he is in love with Michelle. And
so cute.
Nadia says like, oh, you love the band geek? And he says, I am a band geek. I just never joined the band. And it's like, oh, it's the sweetest thing ever.
It's so cute. And it inspires Nadia. She's like, I will find my geek. So cute.
Yeah. What did you think of this one? What was your favorite moment or scene from this one?
I loved this one. I think I don't know if it was just like riding the high of like watching 1 and then 2 back to back, but like I liked it the most out of all of them, I think. Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. I mean, like the first will always be like classic, like the best, and it is the best. But this one I liked the most, and I think maybe it's also, them being in college is like a little less weird than like high school.
Right.
Like, I don't know. That made it like easier for me to like feel more relaxed, I guess, watching it. I'm like, oh, this isn't like as creepy as before, but like still so ridiculous and funny regardless. I don't know. Yeah, it's just fun to see the college aspects that they threw into this. And I think that gave it room for these characters to like grow a lot more, which I wasn't expecting. I kind of thought this was just going to be like, oh, they did it again. They went deep with this one, and I really appreciated it. And yeah, I mean, it's too hard. I can't choose a favorite. My favorite scene was definitely the trumpet in the butt. That was so funny. I also just loved, again, I'm coming back to Finch, but I loved his whole like, what was it called? Tantras. Yeah, like his whole meditative thing. One of my favorite lines that killed me is when he has like a photo of, because I think him and Stifler went, oh no, he has a photo of him and Stifler's mom and Stifler like at graduation hanging on his wall. Mm-hmm. And he's like looking at a picture of Stifler's mom and he says, how did you do that magic you did? And just the way he delivers it and like reminisces on this woman is just it's the funniest thing ever to me. So I love the payoff of like, you don't know if she's gonna come back, but you kind of hope she does because this guy's driving himself insane like over her. And that end when Stifler's mom comes back is so good because they hint at it like early in the film.
Right.
You're like, oh, she's coming. And then it turns out to be Stifler's younger brother, which was hilarious. When he's like, what up, fuckers? But yeah, so I was very happy to see Jennifer Coolidge return to the franchise because she's a great, small but great part of it.
I mean, one of the most memorable characters of the franchise. Stifler's mom.
It wouldn't be the same without her for sure.
I should mention one thing that I did not mention from the first movie is there's a scene where 2 people at Stifler's party are looking at the picture of Stifler's mom hanging in the hallway. And they call her a MILF.
Oh, yeah.
And, like now everybody knows like MILF is like common vernacular. This movie is credited with coining the phrase MILF. Although it is not actually true, there is like some evidence of the term MILF popping up on an internet board here or there, but very small. Like, I mean, it's once or twice people have found some evidence of the phrase before this film came out, but American Pie is responsible for the popularity of the term MILF.
That's wild.
And Jennifer Coolidge
I was
is
wondering
the quintessential MILF.
She is the face of MILF, yeah. Cracks me up. Her dynamic with Finch, like they just have such a good chemistry, which is hilarious to say. Like it's terrible. God, yeah. I loved this one. I'm struggling to fully articulate why, but I think we covered most of it. Just like the heart of it comes back full force in this one. And I love Jim and Michelle. I think they're so cute. And I love just like the way that this one feels almost more like a rom-com. Like I thought of at band camp, and he's like has to play in front of that whole audience, like with her watching him. Like that just felt so rom-com-y. And and it made me think of like No Hard Feelings, which I feel like we were talking about when we talked about that film on the podcast. We were talking about how that was kind of like a new rebirth of these kind of movies. And I feel like that's why it was kind of divisive as well. Like some people are really against bringing back sex comedies, I feel like.
Squares. Yeah,
I was like, shit, maybe I'm weird, but like I'm all here for it, man. I think that shit is hilarious. And
I mean, it's sex and it's comedy. If you are against sex and comedy, I'm sorry, but you're a fucking loser. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, so like, I mean, these movies, they're the same. Like they're the same in the same vein, and they just work so well. I think having like some of the rom-com tropes come into the sex comedy more so in this film is why I liked it more.
Absolutely.
It worked really well for me.
Oh yeah, the other sweet line that Jim has is he goes to the band camp at the end, sweeps Michelle off her feet in front of the whole band camp, and he says, "How's this for a band camp story?" Because she every time she's like, "This one time at band camp." Oh, what a great line! Oh man, standing ovation.
Right.
Awesome.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, even when he's about to hook up with Nadia, he says something like, "This one time at band camp," and then he's like, "Oh shit, I'm in love with that girl." Right. It's so cute.
All right, before we move on, I do give me 3 quick pieces of trivia here for American Pie 2.
Let's go.
Because I guarantee you I don't have them for American Wedding. Because who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
I want to play a game.
Alyson Hannigan. Michelle. Lovely Alyson Hannigan. That scene where she's breaking up with Jim, fake breaking up with Jim, in front of Nadia. Her hair is, you'll notice, or maybe you won't, styled a little differently than the rest of the film. And that's because she was shooting Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like the new episode of the new season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, concurrently with American Pie 2.
Oh, damn.
So I don't know, something got mixed up with the schedule and they just could not fix her hair or something. But yeah, Alyson Hannigan's filming of Buffy the Vampire Slayer at the same time of this movie, Universal had her making the movie Wednesdays through Sundays instead of the usual Monday through Friday routine. So
damn.
The filmmakers realized, how important she was to the film and the franchise because they changed their whole schedule for her. So there you go.
Jeez.
This one I found very interesting. And apparently there's a documentary about the American Pie franchise that I should have watched before this, but I just found out about it right before we went on the air here. So there was a couple major subplots that were cut from the movie. Apparently the original script of this thing was 200 pages long. Thank God they cut that fucking down. But So a couple subplots. One was that Oz and Heather cheat on each other.
I was predicting, literally the second we started this movie, Jonathan and I were like, okay, is she going to cheat on him or is he going to cheat on her?
Right.
We were like, what one is going to happen?
So apparently originally that happened, but the test audiences, women were very upset by that, and it ruined the movie for them. So they cut that. Another subplot was cut was it featured the inclusion of Stifler's dad.
Oh.
Who was played by the late Chris Penn.
Really?
Yeah. And he was put in the film to give Stifler kind of a backstory to show why he's such an asshole, you know? And ultimately, test audiences were like, we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care why he's an asshole. Just he's an asshole. Like,
yeah. You don't no need to like excuse it.
Right.
This
exactly.
Is who he is. He owns it.
Right. So there you go. So that was cut also. And I think for the better. Like the movie does not need to be longer than it is.
Oh my God. And I was so relieved that Oz and Heather got a happy ending.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh man. It's just, it would be so typical. Like it would be it's so predictable.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, come on. Sometimes love is good. Sometimes it works out beautifully. And that's another reason why I think this movie is great. Because it's like, yeah, man, people fall in love and it's wonderful, isn't it? Love is grand.
Yeah. Unless you're Kevin.
But he ends up like a fucking lonely fuck in this.
Yeah.
Finally, and this piece of trivia is really for one person and one person only. And it's our friend of the show. You know, he's been on the show a few times. Ryan Alyson. This one's for you, bro. His favorite band is Three Doors Down. No, never mind. His favorite band is Third Eye Blind. Forget what I said. This trivia means nothing now.
Oh no.
Oh God. I've ruined everything. I've ruined the episode and I've ruined my friendship with Ryan. Anyways, the band Three Doors Down recorded. Now this trivia is for nobody. The band Three Doors Down recorded an alternate version of their song Be Like That for the soundtrack. The first two lines were who the fuck cares? Anyways, moving on. Oh God.
Oh man, that was like a gym moment.
That was totally a gym moment. I've been watching too much fucking gym. Fuck.
Hey, but if we learned anything, Jim comes out on top. So
he does always. He always comes out on top.
He sure does.
American Pie 2. It's awesome. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but Bella does. So hey,
I think it is.
Watch them both.
It's worth it.
Tell us what you think, man, because it does hold up. And I will say, I think this one is funnier than American Pie.
Yeah, this one had me cracking up, and maybe that's why. Yeah, maybe that's why I liked it more.
Yeah,
because I just also wasn't expecting that. I was like, it can't be funnier than the first. So
right. Once again, it's on demand, or you can rent it at your local video stores. We are going to take a quick break, everybody. And during that break, you are going to hear from Gimme Three producer, LADFF director, and my wife, Sonja Mereu, for a segment that we call Sonja's Movie Minute. So stick around for that and much more right here on the Gimme Three Podcast.
Hello, I'm Sonja, and this is my Movie Minute. How I Met Your Mother is one of my favorite shows of all times. It's a lot like Friends in the best ways, but to me, it's even better. Instead of hanging out at their local coffee shop, Central Perk, the How I Met Your Mother crew hangs out at their local bar, McLaren's. I think we can all agree that a bar lends itself to a lot more comedic possibilities than a coffee shop. And the gang certainly has a lot of adventures that begin and or end with a drink at McLaren's. Like Friends, How I Met Your Mother has the ultimate Casanova character. But in this case, he's also slightly evil and a conniving maniac. Of course, I'm talking about Barney Stinson, played by Neil Patrick Harris. Plus, bonus points for having the show's ladies' man, played by an openly gay guy. How I Met Your Mother has an academic wet blanket, like Ross, but Ted is much more fun to root for. It also has Robin, who is one of my favorite female sitcom characters of all times. She's tough, wild, career-driven, and sometimes vulnerable. Plus, she has a hilarious backstory as a Canadian pop star named Robin Sparkles. Last but certainly not least, How I Met Your Mother has an incredibly endearing couple at the center of the friend group, Lily and Marshall, played perfectly by Alyson Hannigan and Jason Segel. It's impossible to not adore them, and it's incredibly relatable to watch them grapple with all the adulting that comes with getting married and having a kid while still trying to keep their party animal souls intact. For those in the know, How I Met Your Mother did make an absolutely horrible choice in the last 10 minutes of the show, one that no fan will ever truly forgive. But they kept the show damn near perfect all the way until then. There's room in our lives for many friends, and thus also room in our lives for many sitcoms. But if I had to be stranded on a desert island with the characters from one show, it would absolutely be Barney, Ted, Robin, Lily, and Marshall from How I Met Your Mother.
All right, welcome back to the Gimme Three Podcast, everybody. It's a series for cinephiles, and on this episode, we are discussing the American Pie trilogy, even though technically it's a quadrilogy, but we are discussing the first three films because it's called the Gimme Three Podcast, goddammit, not the Gimme Four Podcast. So we discussed American Pie 1 and 2 prior to the break, and now we are going to discuss American Wedding.
American Wedding. Here we go. The third installment of the American Pie series, directed by Jesse Dillon and released in 2003.
Can I just stop you right there? Everybody says, oh, Bob Dylan, so great. Oh, Bob Dylan never did anything wrong. Oh, Bob Dylan. Okay, Bob Dylan is basically responsible for this piece of shit film because he birthed Jesse Dillon. Or not birthed, but it's his son, so if it wasn't for Bob Dylan.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyways,
well,
sorry.
That's awkward.
Continue. Apologies.
No, that is crazy. I had no idea. Well, yeah, Jesse Dillon, here we go. This time things are getting serious. As serious as they can be with this group. Jim and Michelle are getting married, which means we're trading high school horniness and college chaos for the absolute circus that is planning a wedding. Not to mention the perfect wedding that Jim has promised Michelle. But don't worry, Jim is still finding new and creative ways to embarrass himself, starting with a disastrous and very public marriage proposal at a fancy restaurant right in the opening act. With the wedding date set, Jim has to impress Michelle's ultra-conservative parents while trying to keep everything under control, which of course is impossible when Stifler is involved. And Stifler, who wasn't even invited at first, completely forces his way into the wedding festivities, creating absolute mayhem. He's crashing dress fittings, planning this insane bachelor party, and starting a rivalry with Finch over Michelle's younger sister, Cadence, played by January Jones. In a surprising twist, Stifler actually tries to act refined and polite to win Cadence over, flipping between his usual obnoxious self and this ridiculously fake gentleman persona to impress Michelle and Cadence's parents. Meanwhile, Jim is desperately trying to prove he's husband material. He enlists Stifler's help to learn how to dance for the wedding, which leads to a very long and very bad nightclub dance-off. Then there's the bachelor party, which starts as a pretty quiet night and, spirals into this ridiculous full-blown disaster involving two strippers and Michelle's parents accidentally walking in at the worst possible moment. This time around, we're also missing some familiar faces. There's no Oz, no Vicky, no Jessica, and Kevin is there but barely relevant. But, the show must go on, and despite the chaos and last-minute disasters and an absurd amount of Stifler, Jim and Michelle do make it down the aisle, proving that even with all this insanity, love still wins in the end. Oh, good old American Wedding. As you guys can probably tell, we're maybe not that excited to talk about this one. Is that about right? Or
yeah,
how do you feel about American Wedding, Nick?
I thought it was a real big piece of shite.
Me too.
It angered me. It like few movies anger me, because even like I can move some movies, it's hard to make a movie.
Yeah.
So I say that a lot when we talk about movies that are maybe not as good as other movies.
Right.
But there has never been such an obvious cash grab,
Yeah. Yeah, I felt that.
This movie did not need to really exist. The concept of having a movie about Jim and Michelle getting married is like quite lovely, and I would be totally down for that. Unfortunately, that's not what this movie is about. This movie is about Stifler.
It's a Stifler spinoff.
It is a Stifler spinoff movie placed in the middle of a movie about Jim and Michelle getting married. And Stifler is also not like, he's not even really the same Stifler from the first two movies. He's like
not at all
a more cartoony, heightened, like borderline mental issues character.
Yeah.
He's got this weird evil laugh that he does, like, and it's just like, what the fuck am I watching here?
I totally agree. Like I was getting so mad watching this movie. Jonathan was like, "Come on, it's American Pie." I'm like, "No, it's not. Like there's nothing even happening in this movie. Nothing makes sense," which says a lot because this is the most like simple. It's as simple as it fucking gets.
Right, I know. Sorry, we're not hard to please. Just give me some fucking pie, fucking, and some boobies, and we'll be happy.
Yeah, like they're just doing too much that didn't even flow or make sense. And like, yeah, the thing that pissed me off the most was like Stifler being the center of attention and not even being good at it. Because he's great in the previous two movies. Mm-hmm. Like he's unbearable, but he does it in a way that I was like, oh, this is a funny character.
He's unbearable in a way that's like, I know that guy.
Yeah, exactly. This one, you're so right. He's like a cartoon. It's almost like he was trying to do some like Jim Carrey stuff, which only Jim Carrey's capable of doing. And he was just not funny at all.
Not funny.
Which really pissed me off. Like, not at all. This was such a painful watch for me, honestly.
It's cringe. It's real cringe.
Yeah, it's really, really, really bad. The only person who kills it is Eugene Levy.
Yeah, Eugene Levy. There are, and this is what actually made me even more upset, is like there's a couple of scenes in here where Stifler's not involved at all, and it is about Jim and Michelle, or Michelle, and the scene where Michelle invites Jim's dad in, and it's before the wedding, and she's like throughout the movie, she's been struggling to write her vows. Throughout the movie, they like mention it once before. It should be.
I was gonna say
it should be like the plot point of the movie, but it's not. They mention it once, and then they're like, "Okay, we're gonna have this big emotional beat with Jim's dad at the end." So she invites Jim's dad to her room, and the scene is quite lovely. She tells him, I need help with my vows, and she tells him like, Jim always said you've always been there when you need him, so I thought I'd ask for your help. And Eugene Levy says, Jim said that? And you could see like the sincerity in his performance, and you just see like this love that he just feels so much love in his heart. And Michelle is like, Alyson Hannigan's so funny in that scene when he's talking about like, why do they call it making love? And Michelle I call it boning, like it's like fun. I was like, why wasn't this the movie? Like this could have been really good and funny if it was about Jim and Michelle and Eugene Levy, the three best parts of the trilogy. But what happened was off of the success of American Pie 1 and 2, and because Stifler gets all the good jokes in American Pie 1 and 2, Seann William Scott became like the most popular of all of the cast from that, like
That's crazy.
he was, doing Dude, Where's My Car? And, like now I'm drawing a blank, but he was in like a lot of movies in the early 2000s. Like he was like kind of a it guy for a while.
He started popping them out.
Yeah. So they're like, well, we got to just make this a Stifler movie because he's going to be the box office draw. So that's clearly what this was, but it's like, it's not necessarily a recipe for a good movie.
Right.
And that is proven to be true with this film.
Very much so. Yeah, it's a tough watch.
Yeah.
Cause there was so much potential. Like it felt so lazy. It was like, okay, we're gonna do like a Meet the Parents, Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
But then we're gonna do Stifler as the wedding crasher, and he's just like taking a giant dump all over it at every single turn, and you're like, it's just lame.
Yeah,
it's just lame.
It gets old. It gets old real fast, and it's like it's been done before, and it's just
so many times so much better too. Like it's like, why would he even try to compete? But this was a tough ending.
Yeah, it was. That scene with the strippers. Like that whole sequence is just it's I think it's my least favorite scene of the whole series, because not only is it not funny, it's like clearly trying to be like the Jim Nadia moment of the movie, the lesbians scene of the movie, that sexual escapades anchor that's in the middle of the movie, and it is just not it's just not funny. One.
Yeah.
It's directed so oddly.
Yeah.
Like there's a moment where the strippers have tied Kevin to a chair, right?
Yeah.
And Finch has covered himself with chocolate sauce because the stripper said she was going to eat it off of him, and they've got their gay friend that they met in the gay bar, and he's in assless chaps, and he's going down to get some wine. So it's like chaos is happening all around the house. And then Jim comes over with his soon-to-be in-laws to like have a talk with them about why he thinks he's going to be a great husband, and they are going to surprise Jim with the strippers. And so everybody's got to hide, So anyways, they find Kevin in the closet, and for some reason, it was probably because Kevin was probably like, I'm fucking out of here. Like, I don't know why, but for some reason, there's like weird POV shots from Kevin on the parents and Jim asking him if he's okay. I was like, why are we doing a POV shot of Kevin when, one, most of the time I forget that he even exists in this film. And two, when have we ever gotten a POV shot in an American?
So weird.
What movie am I watching here? It was
so bizarre.
It was
watching Home Alone.
I never in my life, or in the year and a half that we've been doing this podcast, have I been like so tempted to be like, I'm just not going to finish it. Like,
I know, which is crazy. I mean, we've watched fucking Christmas in the Spotlight.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need to finish this, but I did.
Yeah,
I powered on through for you, the fans.
Yes. Think about our sacrifice. Let that sink in.
Don't watch this movie. I'm serious. Like most of the time, it's like oh, Christmas in the Spotlight. You might enjoy it, like if you're into the swizzle or this or that. I would say do not watch this movie. I don't know who this movie's for, but if it's for you, you're probably not listening to this show.
Yeah. Oh my god, I started laughing earlier because I saw your Letterboxd review of this. It's so good.
I said, what have they done to my boy? They massacred my boy.
It's so real. Yeah, we both gave it a 1.5, which honestly was generous.
It's generous. At first, I gave it a half star, but then there's like 2 or 3 scenes with Michelle and Jim's dad and Jim, and I think like the wedding dance is really sweet with Jim and Michelle, and The wedding itself is sweet. They just fucked up. Like they just had short-sighted vision, you know? They had an opportunity to do something really special here, and they really blew it. And I'm not going to just throw Jesse Dillon, because it's not like he was given the script, you know, like he made some,
it's the script.
He made some odd directorial choices, but this script and the studio completely fucking butchered what was proving to be a fantastic franchise. They fucked it.
Yeah. Even like, you know what would have even been better is if they were really going to stick with like, this is a Stifler movie, then like they kind of danced around this whole plot of like Cadence, January Jones, Michelle's younger sister, like turns out to be attracted to the true Stifler, not the like intelligent gentleman version. But that's not even believable to me in it. Like there's nothing that shows that she's on this like level of insanity and like nasty shit that he's on. I think maybe saving it would have been like where they would have almost like a competition of like Cadence being even crazier than Stifler or something like that. But she's such a like throwaway character.
Yeah, she's got no depth. She's got
no depth.
She does. Yeah. She does. It's a clear example of why the first two were smart and well written and why this one isn't. Because with that first one, you get like Michelle, and the whole movie you're led to believe like she's like the biggest geek who's never, she's going to go to prom with me because she would have never seen this sex thing that I did on the internet. And then it turns out that she's like the biggest freak of them all. You know, like that's the spin. There's just no creativity here to like even like begin to have something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%.
That's trash.
Trash and tragic. But if you stop at number 2, then you'll be happy. You'll have a great time.
Yeah. I have not seen. So American Reunion exists, which is, I believe it's their high school reunion is what
I might have to check that out. It came out in like 2012, right?
Right.
It was like much later.
Yeah. So I have not seen that. So
who's in that one? Did they bring back everyone?
I'm looking at the cast here. It's got everybody. Tara Reid's back. Chris Klein is back. Man, this movie was missing Chris Klein, I tell you. Who's Oz.
I agree. I was so pissed that Oz wasn't in this. I was so confused.
It's missing Natasha Lyonne big time. Yep. It's missing like the women. It shows that the women characters are just as much a part of the backbone of these films as the men. And this movie really ignores the women, including Michelle. And this movie is supposed to be about Michelle's wedding.
Oh, yeah. She was barely in it. It was insane.
God, I get angry.
Well, this poster of American Reunion makes me like kind of want to watch it.
I mean, we've gone this far. Yeah, the poster of American Reunion is good. It's like basically a recreation of the American Pie poster.
Yeah. And then American Wedding, just by looking at it, I should have known. I should have known this was going to be a piece of shit. But
bummer, man. It's just it
is a bummer.
I've come off as harsh in this, segment, but it's only because I love the first two so much. And when you love something so much, and then they fuck it up, I get angry.
Well, and I thought, like, if anything, I kind of expected it to be a gradual decline to the point where I'm like, by the time I get to American Wedding, I'm like, yeah, okay, I expected that to be, like, not so good, but at least it got me there.
Right.
But it's such a big drop. Like, 1 and 2 are, like, in line together for me, at least.
Yeah.
And so it's such a big drop off to the third, which just is, like, the nail in the coffin for me. But I don't know. You know what? I would love, if there are American Wedding fans out there listening to us, please come at us. Let us know, because I would like to hear the alternative side of this.
Yeah.
What people do like about American Wedding. If there is anyone who likes American Wedding.
We're gonna get a letter from Bob Dylan. How dare you besmirch my son's work?
That is so crazy. I can't believe that is Bob Dylan's son. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. There you have it. The American Pie trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
Let us know what you think. Let us know which one's your favorite. Let us know where you were when you first saw these films, or if you've got any funny American Pie stories yourself. And we do not want to hear about you having any sex with any baked goods. Save those for your memoir. But, your experiences with the movie, that we want to hear about. So let us know what you think of these films. Let us know what you think of the show. You can do that in a few different ways. You can send us a text message. You go down to our episode description, and surrounded by a couple of red exclamation points, you'll see a link that says, send us a text message. Click that link, and you're going to be able to message us, and it's going to go directly into our inbox. If it's funny, insightful, if it's good, if it's a great question even, we will perhaps read it on the air. You can also message us on Instagram at Gimme Three Podcast. That's GIMME, spell out 3 podcast. Gimme Three Podcast. If you want to help out the show, if you like our show and you want to support us, there's a few different ways you can do that. You can sign up for our Patreon for a mere $5 a month, which is cheaper than pretty much everything these days, except for breathing. You can support the show. $5 a month. You're going to get bonus content every single month, and it just helps us, keeps us going, keeps us chugging along, which we appreciate greatly. You can also set our show to automatically download. So every time we come out with a new show, the episode automatically downloads to your computer or your smartphone. And that way also, if you're away from the Wi-Fi and you still want to listen to the show, bang, still got it.
Mm-hmm.
Bella, do you want to tell the lovely folks where they can find you on the social media?
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram at Portrait of a Cinephile or on Letterboxd at BFstratus.
And you can find me on Letterboxd, on Instagram, and on Blue Sky at Nicholas Ibarra. Ibarra is spelled with a Y. We want to thank you all for listening to the Gimme Three Podcast, and we will see you at the movies.